We are live 364 days a year. What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I've told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan. Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get sushi after Monday Night Raw?
What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It is Saturday, November 15th. We're going to break down last night's Friday Night SmackDown. We're on the road to Survivor Series. We got a lot of great things going on in professional wrestling this weekend. We're going to break it all down for you. I got to have a good crew with me to break it down, and I've got a good one. I'm stoked about it. Both members on the East Coast, both excellent Wrestling Republic teammates. Let me introduce them to you really quick. First and foremost, out in Philly, we've got a good friend of mine, Anthony Ricciardi. How are you feeling on this Saturday, Ant?
I'm doing all right. It was an eventful night last night. SmackDown aired. TNA had their turning point. There's a couple other wrestling events this weekend. It's always good when there's plenty of wrestling content. And last night's SmackDown was interesting, and I'm looking forward to getting into it.
No doubt about it. This is a important SmackDown. It felt like along the way to Survivor Series, and a lot of things went down. I can't wait to talk about it. But before we do, I got to send this one to near Boston. It's in Massachusetts. I know that. To our resident Cowboy fan wearing Patriots gear, Dez. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm actually supporting a New England team. I got the Drake May shirt yesterday, $10 at Walmart, and I'll be going to a Patriots game against the Giants. But I'm always going to stay true to the Cowboys, even though they disappoint me. But either way, it's not about football. It's about last night's SmackDown. You know it. Zack Ryder is back. It was a great show, man. Honestly, pretty excited for Survivor Series. I know the hype level is like kind of hit or miss right now, but I'm excited to break it down.
No doubt about it. I mean, let's get right into our first topic. And speaking of Zack Ryder and his return, obviously we got, a bit of a preview earlier in the week from a guy that looks eerily similar to Zack Ryder. I think it's like Cardona.
Maybe a doppelganger?
Something like that. I mean, who knows? By the way, that could be a great tag team, Cardona and Ryder. Who knows?
Could be.
I think in the future. But Zack Ryder enters the Last Time Is Now tournament and loses to LA Knight, which I did not expect.
Yeah.
But the entrance meant a lot. I thought you could see the look on Zack's face. Mm-hmm. That to me was the highlight that was necessary. But an interesting match, an interesting choice as far as the winner is concerned. I like it because I don't think LA Knight can afford to take many more losses, given, the recent booking with him. But Ant, I want to ask you about it, and I want to ask you what your thoughts on the match were, as well as the tournament as a whole.
Cardona is very interesting, or Zack Ryder, if you will. When you look at people that have left WWE, either by choice or were shown the door, there are a few outliers that reinvented themselves and made themselves desirable, where WWE went back and went, you know what, we want you back. Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Cardona. The next one up is going to be Mustafa Ali. That's my guess. I think Mustafa's the next one in this cavalcade of people that have left and come back. Ryder has completely reinvented himself on the indies. For the 5 years he was there, he elevated himself, was a deathmatch guy, former GCW world champion, former NWA champion while he was there. He made a couple appearances in AEW. They didn't sign him. They brought him in to sell tickets for Final Battle for the Ring of Honor show, because he was from New York. They didn't sign him. The only one that I apparently wanted to sign him long-term, allegedly, was TNA, but he wasn't interested in that. He wants to go back to WWE. He wants to end his career there. Whether this was a one-off or this leads to something longer, it meant something to him. And that's a really cool thing to watch as a fan, because the struggle he went through. He didn't choose to leave WWE. He was shown the door. He wants to be on the grandest stage. So it was very cool. The match was solid. And it's interesting, and it adds the intrigue in there of going, well, anybody could be in this tournament thing. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be Joe Hendry. When they said they weren't going to reveal who the name was, I think myself and I think a lot of people went, oh, it's got to be Joe Hendry. That's who it has to be. So when Cardona comes out, which unfortunately that kind of got spoiled for me because I was watching Turning Point and I unfortunately went on Instagram and then, obviously I was found out. But the tournament's interesting. I like the fact that, granted, they know who's going to get seen at the end, but to give that appearance that it could be anybody is a very cool thing. And that's a prestige thing, whoever retires John Cena. Win or lose, you are going to be the one that had the 17-time world champs last match. One of the biggest money makers WWE and the wrestling business has ever seen. So that's a huge thing for whoever gets that spot, whether it's Gunther, whether it's Jey Uso, which I know the internet hates. But, it could be anybody. I didn't think they were going to give it to Ryder only because realistically, I don't picture Ryder and Cena being the last match. I just don't. Also, don't even know if he's fully signed, if it was a one-off, if it's going to be longer. He's appeared on NXT this year as Cardona. He's not signed anywhere. Even when he appeared on NXT, he wasn't actually signed anywhere. So it's going to be interesting seeing what happens. I don't think he's going to show up on Dynamite next week, but I think it's WWE. Probably. The fact that they've released multiple shirts, they don't do that. I know Shad mentioned in our in our group chat, well, they did it with the Hardys. The Hardys are legends. Cardona is not a legend. And also, the Hardys are probably going to have one last run in WWE before they hang them up, likely. So, I'm okay with it. I could see Ryder coming back. Do I ever see him as WWE champion? No.
Oh, no.
Could he win WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Because I view that lesser. The WWE title is always going to be the top title. Maybe. But I don't think he's going to get the WWE Championship, the belt that was held by Bruno and all these other people. I don't picture him holding that.
I'm with you. And I love the way you broke this down when it comes to the tournament, too. I'm in agreement just to have... it's funny. It's easy to be critical, I feel like, of tournaments in wrestling often. Yeah. This fits, number one, John Cena as well as anything. But this tournament, it feels sort of natural. And like you said, capturing the magic of we're not really sure who's in it. Mm-hmm. It could be anybody from everywhere, and you got to earn it. Mm-hmm. It's one of those that I think we'll look back upon even more fondly in the future. Actually, it's one of the best, I think, booking decisions of the Cena retirement tour thus far. Yes. I don't want to, give too many flowers before it's over, right? They can make some funky decisions here, and we have to limp across the finish line. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. But I will say this, Ant. I think this will crack you up, and I think this will crack you up too, Des. My first thought when Zack Ryder's entrance music hit is I go, oh no, please don't have him enter the tournament twice and do like a Faces of Cardona thing.
I think you do that for you could do that for a Rumble. You can do that for a Rumble, and I'm sure people will be mad about that taking 2 spots.
Right.
But I do have to say one small thing, and I know this is part of a much larger conversation. I know there's been a lot of complaints about the Cena retirement thing. I view it in the same way as a hit TV show. When you get into a series finale, there's really no way to truly satisfy everybody. And he had a limited number of dates. So realistically, you're trying to jam an entire celebration into, 30 dates? Whatever it ended up turning out to be. Like, it's very difficult. Like, you're trying to get a finale like Breaking Bad, which is probably the only universally praised finale. You don't want to end up with The Sopranos. So you want to find that sweet spot in the middle that satisfies a lot of people. And I do think they checked a lot of boxes. I know people will get mad with different things, but it was never going to satisfy everybody. Let's be real. It was never going to satisfy everybody.
Oh, 100%.
But I think they checked a lot of boxes, and I'm not overly opposed to the run with the limited time they had to actually do stuff with them.
Right.
I think that's totally fair. We got some comments I'm going to read really quick before I toss it to you, Des. But we've got Sei here with, I don't like the fact that Zack Ryder is back as Zack Ryder because I felt like he has made a name for himself as Matt Cardona. I think we can agree on that for sure. But to me, because he wrestled in NXT as Matt Cardona, I thought it was, and the fact that it's a part of the tournament, I actually enjoyed using the Zack Ryder moniker because it brought back even extra nostalgia, right? Like we were already sort of speculating that Matt Cardona may be signed or maybe in the WWE and whatnot. We didn't really consider that they might go back to the Zack Ryder gimmick, and we've got multiple people that have multiple gimmicks like that, and I don't mind it. There's time and place for it. I thought it fit on this one personally, but Des, I do want to also get your thoughts before, we could talk about this topic the rest of the show, honestly, but sincerely, but I do want to get your thoughts at least on the match, the return of Zack Ryder, and the tournament.
All right, first and foremost, I'm a man of my word. Monday, when I was driving to Monday Night Raw, my friend Kyle told me this Friday night on SmackDown, Zack Ryder will come back. Not Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder. He said radio's going to be playing. I called it a bluff. I said, I just don't see that happening. And, well, here we are. So I'm going to give him his flowers. It was a cool moment, right? Nostalgia is a hell of a drug and something I was just not expecting, right? Like Anthony said, I was in the same camp where Joe Hendry was the one that came to mind. There was news that he recently signed with WWE, so it just felt like a really fair plug and play. But no, Zack Ryder came out. I got to say, I think it's really, really funny. I don't know if this is intentional, right? Zack Ryder back in 2012, 2013 was the guy, right? He got over organically. The fans loved him, and it felt like he was being held down by the machine. With LA Knight, he got over organically. The fans love him, and they feel like he's being held down by the machine. So I don't know if that was intentional, but I think it's really funny where it's like a past versus present, even though I know they're like the same age, but it kind of felt like that moment. Zack Ryder losing, I don't think it hurts him at all because there's reports that maybe he did sign a contract, like Anthony said. There's a tons of merch, and it's not like Matt Cardona merch. It's like the old woo-woo, merch that he had. And if he does come back, I think it'd be really cool. I do feel like if he came back as Matt Cardona, I don't think fans would connect with him as much. So when you saw the Zack Ryder, people were like, oh my gosh, like I remember him. Remember when Jim Johnson made the radio and then he had the YouTube championship or the TV championship, whatever it was. So it was a really cool moment. I am happy LA Knight won, and I'm really excited to see what else is there. If they do run it where they have Matt Cardona in NXT and Zack Ryder in WWE, I honestly also wouldn't hate that.
I wouldn't actually mind that either. Although at the same time, do we really need that much Cardona?
No, not really.
And that's the only problem, right? It's like, I think he's great. I'm just saying, Internet Championship. DCX
that's what it was. Yeah,
that's right. And then he's saying it's a one-off. I think that's possible. I think that
possible,
very possible. It could be easily a one-off. I also think when it comes to the tournament, and I said it months ago, there are going to be people in it that can't win it. And I feel like Zack Ryder's sort of one of those that fits. And I think that in and of itself is probably the reason the decision was made to go with Ryder over Cardona, if that makes any sense.
It's possible.
Well, because Ryder is the one that has the history with Cena. Cardona technically doesn't. So so if it's just for the tournament, I don't have an issue. You could still bring him in as Cardona. Like, it's not that big of a deal one way or another. He's a nice piece to have because he does move merch and he is popular, but he's not going to be in the main event scene. He's not at least not long term if he ever is. But I like the fact that they're not revealing the names in the tournament.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. Like, I feel the same way about the Rumbles. I don't want to know.
I thought it was.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I thought it was really cool last night that like the image for SmackDown was LA Knight and like they gave you gave you the mystery, and like I love stuff like that. I'm with you. I wish the only thing that I'm a little bit nervous about is as we get to the second and third rounds, it's going to be predictable. It's going to feel a little bit predictable. I'm hoping that we have some sort of really nervy semifinal matches. Yeah. Right? They need to make the matchups in the semis really good. Like, I actually hope that they don't show a bracket until the first round's over.
Because they haven't shown a bracket.
They haven't shown a bracket, no.
That would be my preference if
Yeah. That's the whole thing. You want that air of mystery involved with this. I mean, I think a lot of us think the two names I think a lot of people are mentioning, Gunther, and some people are mentioning Jey Uso. I think it's Gunther. If I was guessing, I'm saying Gunther. If I had my way, I would laugh if it's Jericho, to be honest
Well,
with
it'd be
you.
the funniest thing in the world.
Because honestly, if you had a mystery person and they were contractually able to do it, MSG would lose their minds if Monday Night came out.
For sure.
And he's the guy.
Absolutely. I mean, heck, I was hanging out with him on Thursday night, so it's definitely
it's possible.
Very possible, my friends. There is no doubt about it. Also, shout out Quarantine. One of the best shows I've been to all year. It was actually really fun. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's a fun old music. It's great. It's it's no makeup Kiss is what they play. It's delightful if you have a chance to see it. I swear it was maybe the funniest crowd I've ever been in. Just quick story because it's just hilarious. A small venue, real close to my house, right? And I'd say there was about like 20% wrestling fans there to just see Chris Jericho.
Yes,
and then like 80% fans of like the music.
Yeah.
So there was just like a third of the crowd that didn't know the words to any of the songs. and all the wrestling fans were standing on like one side of the stage. It was so funny.
Well, Clark, I told you the time I met Roddy Piper, it was at a MonsterCon, and he was there for They Live. And you could tell the difference because the bulk of that crowd was there because it was Roddy Piper, the legend,
right? The legend
in wrestling. But then there was a portion of the crowd that was there because of They Live, which is why he was booked.
It's so good. That is actually hilarious. Those things like that are so unique to me. Like where you sort of have two different fan bases like mixed together in the same. It always makes for a good time for sure. All right, let's move on to our next topic here. I do apologize for the next two. There was a little bit of a glitch graphics wise, so we don't have the specific graphics for the next two topics.
It's not lit up in red.
Yeah, it's not lit up.
Yeah.
But you should know what we're talking about. So it's Charlotte Flair appears to be out of War Games. I think this is a pretty big step as far as the narrative between her and Alexa Bliss. I think I'm actually stunned at how well that partnership has worked out. I like you kind of rebuilt both in a way. And not that Alexa Bliss was ever needed like a rebuilding or anything, but Charlotte hit a little bit of a low point after the Tiffy thing. And Bliss, has had return, goes away, a little bit of stop-start action. Alexa Bliss has been on fire since this partnership started.
Yeah.
I like the idea of, hey, if you want to do this, go for it, but count me out of War Games because it's going to make for more segments leading to War Games, whether it's trying to convince Charlotte that they need her, or it leads to the eventual breakup of the team. I'm not 100% sure which way I want to lean, but Ant, I got to ask you, what do you feel about it? And did you enjoy it last night?
I think Charlotte will 100% be on the team. If I'm being perfectly honest, I do like the twist because it was not something I would have envisioned the direction they would be going with it, where Charlotte's like, you know what? I support you. We're friends. And that element of realism of going, I don't like Rhea. She doesn't like me. I'm not going to pretend we're now friends now because we're both baby faces. Like, I love that because that is a factor that's often ignored. They did it last year brilliantly with Punk and Roman in the Survivor Series match where it's like, we don't like each other. We're doing it because we have a mutual friend in Paul at the time. So I like that they're doing it. I think Charlotte is going to keep saying no. They're going to do something to Alexa. That's what's going to drive her out and fight people off. Whether that's on Raw, whether that's on next weekend SmackDown, it's going to be something like that is my guess. I don't think any of us envisioned that Charlotte would become, I don't even want to say beloved because I think that's a bit of a stretch, but a fan favorite coming out of the Tiffy thing because she was just a natural heel. That whole thing was awkward because Tiffy was trying to be a babyface and wasn't believable. And before that, she was trying to out-heel the Queen, which that's just dumb. That's like, I like playing chess and you're playing against a grandmaster. I'm sorry. You're not going to win. It's just not happening. So, but I do think she is going to come in because it's the logical choice. There's too many strong people on the other side. You need a powerhouse along with Rhea. So Charlotte is the logical choice against Lash and Nia. You need to counteract that. Io's just going to jump off of something with a trash can.
Yep.
Alexa's probably going to do the fake broken arm thing. There's certain things that are going to happen in this match, but I can't imagine Charlotte would not be in it. I can't think of anybody else that they would throw in there, to be perfectly honest.
We got a couple comments I want to run through because I'm with you here. Mike NY, NYR for life 491.
Rangers.
Said Alexa did something I thought was impossible. It got Charlotte over with the fans. Yeah.
Yes.
And then added Charlotte will be a surprise entrance and get the pop of the match. Yes, Charlotte will get a face reaction. I'm with you.
Yes.
DCX Warlord added that he hopes that Theory's the final member, not Brock. Yeah, I hear you there. We'll get to that later. But then Fernando said Liv Morgan will be a surprise last minute replacement. I think you save Liv's return for a Dom related storyline. That's just my personal opinion, and that's the way I would prefer it to be. But I also, if Liv is healthy, she's electric, and so I don't want her not on TV. So if that were the case for some reason, then okay, I could deal with it. Shot added though, a split of them two could be needed for the singles division on SD. That's the only thing that's scary. I wouldn't do it yet though.
I wouldn't do it because I think they're more valuable in the tag division. Charlotte's already done enough as a single star. Like you would need another team to replace them. You got nothing to replace them with. So you can't take one piece out without a replacement piece for them to go the separate direction. Yeah. And are you going to reverse everything you did? Because if Charlotte turns heel on her, there's no bounce back as quickly. You've just built her up as a face. So would you turn Alexa? Would you turn Alexis heel? Or would you do Bliss? Would you do Bliss as a heel? And then Charlotte's the victim in this thing to try to keep that momentum going? You could. But I would keep them together, at least for a while.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to turn Alexa heel yet. No, either, because she's also getting cheered as much as Charlotte is.
But I think Alexa would have an easier time going back and forth. Charlotte has such a horrible. This is why I was trying to avoid to say that, because I knew the device would go off.
That's actually hilarious.
But yeah, so I think that's what's going to end up happening. Is I could see Bliss being the one to turn heel. I mean, Charlotte could. But I wouldn't do it now.
I did not realize that you literally did a juke move around it by accidentally calling her Alexis. You're like, oh,
I was purposely doing that to avoid it. I knew that was going to do that.
That is outstanding. That's one of the funniest things.
Who's Bliss? Oh, crap.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, just call her Bliss for now.
Yes. Yeah. It happens every time. That's why.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about the traditional Survivor Series match being announced, because I got a few things to say about it first before I toss this to you, Des, and you give us all of the people that are in this match. We have criticized AEW for multi-people matches for like 5 years. Everyone does it on the internet. I've seen it a billion times. So let's get 2 War Games matches and a traditional Survivor Series match on one WWE card, and no one's going to bring it up. Not on my watch, my friends. Not on my watch. But I am excited about the match. Des, let us know the participants.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I don't think it's on the same card, though. I feel like it's on SmackDown, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's on the SmackDown before. It should be on Survivor Series, but it's a SmackDown before.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, the people in the match, we got Sami Zayn, we got Ray Fenix, we got the Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke Nakamura taking on the MFTs. Honestly, I don't hate the idea. I know people online are like, not too happy about it. I don't hate the idea this is not on War Games. I'm going to be honest. This match doesn't really move me, where it's like, does this match really need to be on the card? I feel like it's going to be a lot of overkill because you already have the women's War Games match. You already have the men's War Games match. So making this on SmackDown, giving them the time to really do their work. Fenix, he's really incredible. Nakamura is great. Sammy's great. MCMG is great. Tama Tonga's great. I feel like you can give them more time and you can give them more room for them to operate and give more time for them to show how good they really are, where it's like, okay, maybe this could be cool. You also could have the Wyatts involved in this, because after Solo stopped talking, you had the Wyatt's logo pop up. Maybe it's a me thing, but I like the traditional Survivor Series matchups. I think they're really cool, but I feel like this is one that probably doesn't need to be on the card because people are complaining where it's like, well, War Games feel like it's all thrown together. This one also kind of feels thrown together. Yes, they all have a connection within each other, but it's very, very small nitpicks, right? Sami Zayn, he has the main issue with the MFTs. FedEx, he's just kind of in the mix. Motor City Machine Guns, they're kind of in the mix. And Nakamura, he just recently got involved with them. So to put this on a War Games card, I do feel like you're kind of just rushing it a little bit. So having it on SmackDown, I honestly don't hate it.
I am with you there. Having it on SmackDown definitely to me makes more sense than if you're going to have 2 War Games matches and a Survivor Series traditional match on the same card. Like you get to wrestle.
Listen, the traditional Survivor Series elimination match, I've always loved it. So if you're going to bring it back as an annual thing and do it on the SmackDown before, like they do with the Andre at WrestleMania time, I'm completely fine with that if that's the direction you want to go. I actually like the dynamic of Sammy, Nakamura, Rey Fenix, and the Motor City Machine Guns because there's all these guys with experience and they come off really well. I'd much rather watch them against Solo's group than the Wyatts. To be perfectly honest, like that match intrigues me more.
That is actually a very good point that
it's a fair point. Yeah.
Consider either. That is. I hear you, no doubt about it. All right, let's move on to a topic that I just find. Wait, what?
That is
the other one. We had that one. You don't have the main event.
You didn't have the last one.
Jeez Louise. Okay. Well, we don't have the last one either. We've got.
It's okay. We just have to use the vision. We have to use the vision because McIntyre sees the vision.
Imagine we had the. I thought we had the first and the fourth, not the first and the third.
The graphic, so everyone knows, the graphic went to the John Cena school.
Yes,
you can't see it.
Exactly. You just can't see it.
It does exist. I actually just feel bad because I know Ben's going to be like, "What happened with the graphics?" And I'm going to be like, "They weren't there." That's pretty much not to give you guys any backstage scoop, but I know exactly how this goes.
That's exactly how this conversation's going.
Probably how
1,000%. So anyway, McIntyre, Okay, first off, Cody Rhodes wrestles a match that I guess ends by DQ. I'm not. Yeah. It was a lot. It was all shenanigans.
DQ.
Nobody said it ended by DQ. It just ended. Basically, it felt like, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Braun Breaker comes out and takes you out, and you're not in the match.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Nobody explicitly was like, that's a DQ, but that's basically the way it went down.
Technically, it would be a disqualification. They may have called it a no contest. Either way, nobody really technically took a pinfall or submission.
Nobody really knows. It's unofficially a DQ. Then you got Logan Paul getting involved. Then you got the Usos hitting the 1D, which I'll never get over because I love that they use the 3D. But every time I hear the announcers say the 1D, I think like One Direction, the band, and it throws me off every time. It makes me laugh.
Technically, one of them wrestled Kurt Angle at one time.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's true. That happened. That was a thing. I mean, look, Nick Aldis not happy. Although I don't understand sometimes now. Aldis has been so good, I think, in his GM role, but he's also just. I know who Nick Aldis is. Like, he's got to start hitting people now. Like let's get. I want to see. I don't want to waste the end of Aldis's career on just being a GM. Like, let's let Nick wrestle if he can.
I think
Sox Heyman.
I think he will. I do think Nick Aldis will wrestle in WWE. I do think so. I'm not sure of the opponent yet. I'm trying to think of like who would be the one that would make him snap. It ain't going to be Chelsea. He's not going to wrestle Chelsea. So it's got to be
that would be actually
Randy would be. I mean, a lot of people thought it was going to be Randy at Mania.
I did too.
And it was Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Randy at Mania would have been unbelievable. But also, back to our topic at hand here.
Yes.
We are discussing the vision. Looks like Drew McIntyre is he in the vision? Is he? I mean, he helped.
No, I think he's hired.
I don't think he's officially in it. I think he's more of just sort of the hitman. But Des, I want to ask you, What are your thoughts on McIntyre's involvement in this? Is that what you expected? Did you expect maybe somebody different? Do you have anybody else on your mind? And what do you think the future is with the Vision? Is this just a partnership that lasts through Survivor Series, or is this something that happens after the fact?
Well, unfortunately, I have to come on here very somber. Me and Ben, big Austin Theory advocates. I was very confident that Theory was going to be part of the Vision. I am officially closing the book. I don't really have a book, so I will pretend this is a book, and we're going to be closing the door because I don't think Austin Theory is joining the Vision anymore.
Is that
I do gotta say, yeah, I don't have a book. I just use a calculator.
It's not a TI-83, is it?
Like legitimately the opposite of a book.
Well, it was the closest thing up. Look, see, if WWE can scramble with their shows, I can scramble with my little skit. So there you go. We could work it with that way. But I gotta say, McIntyre joining the Vision for now. It was kind of I feel like it's almost like oh yeah, you know what? Because in my head, I'm like, man, who's it going to be? I don't know. Who's the fifth guy going to be? And it's like, oh, McIntyre. And it's like, oh yeah, that could work. I do got to say, imagine if Seth Rollins was healthy, right? You have a team of Seth Rollins, Big Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, McIntyre, and if what people are saying is true, Brock Lesnar. Like, that's an unbelievable team. Now, I know Logan Paul's in it, but can you imagine if Seth was, obviously he's injured, but if he was healthy, like, this would be an insane team. The star power in War Games, I feel like, is like actually like really insane. Now, the build probably isn't the best, but the star power is like really insane when you think about it. You have Cody, you got Punk, you got the Usos, right? In my opinion, I think Roman Reigns is going to be joining this team, taking on Lesnar, Paul, Braun and Bronson. Like, that's actually like a really insane team, I gotta say. Yeah, McIntyre, like, it's fine. I feel like it kind of works because McIntyre has, he has beef with Punk, he has beef with Jay, has beef with the Usos, has beef with Cody. So everybody on, like, the good guys side that he has a lot of beef with. So I don't hate it, but it's just kind of like, oh, McIntyre, like, yeah, okay, that works.
Yeah, that's my only issue too. Is McIntyre felt a little out of left field, right?
Kinda.
Like just a little. I mean, yes. There were signs, and it makes sense, and it's added up, and there's the suspension stuff earlier in the year and whatnot. But it just feels a little like, oh, they're still scrambling because of the Seth injury in some ways. You know what I mean? Like, they're still just a little bit behind the 8 ball. It's not the end of the world. I will say this, though. If Brock joins that team with Logan Paul, it doesn't necessarily fit very well for a heelish thing because it'll get a big laugh. But Brock has a better sense of humor than people give him credit for. I would love a comedy scene.
The boombox?
Yeah, I would absolutely. I would adore a comedy scene where Logan Paul tries to, like, buddy with Brock. And Brock's like, what are you doing, dude? Don't touch me. Like, go away. Just like, I would laugh so hard. Like, my new good friend Brock. Like, and he's like, what? No. Yeah, I don't know.
Brock just crushes the phone in his hands.
Exactly.
On the team. Don't even look at me. I think it would be so funny, but I do want to get your thoughts on what went down last night with the main event with McIntyre and the Vision headed into Survivor Series. Anthony, what do you think about all of it?
McIntyre makes a lot of sense. He's a hired gun. That's what he did last year. If unless my memory is fading, wasn't he a hired hitman last year too?
I think it was 2 years ago. But
either way, yeah. But he's done this. It fits the character. He has heat with literally everybody in this thing. And it fits the whole I hate the bloodline, everybody is tied to it. So the Heyman thing, he's probably going to go, I don't like you, but I dislike them more. Like, that's the direction he's probably going to go with this. And if you add Brock to the mix, if the rumors and speculation, that's something out of a video game. Because I remember one of the SmackDowns years ago, make up a stable, and it would be like insane. It was like Taker and Kane and Brock and Goldberg. Like, this is like all like an insane like video game thing. And that's kind of what this is. I could totally see, like you said, Clark, a scene in the back where Logan's trying to buddy up with him. And Brock just looks at Paul and goes, get him away from me. Like, yeah, I could totally see that, like, because that just fits the Paul Heyman Brock dynamic. If Brock gets in, he's going in because of Heyman. So it'd be like 2 years in a row, people are in this match only because of Paul. Like, let's be real. So, there's that dynamic to this. It's star-studded, which is if you're not going to build the storyline to it, like to me, I've always been opposed to gimmick matches, just doing gimmick matches. That's why I hate it when they did the Hell in a Cell, because you're doing it because it's October and not because the story dictated it. I am not a huge fan of the, as much as I love War Games, as much as I would love to be there at War Games. It's one of those things that like you're shoehorning matches into the War Games match. Survivor Series, the Survivor Series elimination kind of works because the premise of that is just a random group of people, baby faces and heels, are kind of thrown together in matches, and maybe your rival is on your team, and like storylines branch off of it, which is why I've always liked the Survivor Series match, because you could it branches off. It's almost like the Rumble, in the sense where things can happen in the Rumble that could branch off to Mania, and you can kind of do stuff with it. So I think the Survivor Series elimination match is more versatile in that sense for long-term storytelling. But the War Games itself, visually, it's an enticing match. It's a match that people loved. People wanted it back. And that was one of the things the Hunter brought back with NXT, because Vince wouldn't bring it back. Allegedly, Vince wouldn't bring it back because he didn't create it. Dusty Rhodes did. So the fact that we have War Games back, I'm never going to complain about it. Like, of the matches, I find War Games less egregious than Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell is a storyline feud ender and should not be forced into because it's October when they did it. But the Drew with this whole thing, it works. It continues the story of all these people. You could see Jay was not super thrilled that Jimmy's going to be added into this. Jay is going to turn on his brother. Jay is going to be the heel in this situation, whether or not he sides with the Vision. Either way, I have the heels probably winning this match.
I think so too. And I like the way that you broke down also the concept.
Mm-hmm.
It feels a little bit like it's become the WWE's version of like the MLB All-Star game. So yes, some of them are a little bit shoehorned.
Yes.
But like you mentioned, like how stacked the teams are. And I think that's sort of unique to Thanksgiving weekend. It's a great time to do it.
Yes.
Given that it's sort of you don't call it Mania season till you're like closer to the Rumble. So it's like just outside of Mania season, right? It's like
it's just before the holidays. Well, it's after Thanksgiving, but before Christmas, and it's the ideal time. I mean, the history of the War Games, not to go into it. This is a bit of a throwback thing for people that are familiar when we used to do these. The War Games match was developed by Dusty Rhodes to sell events. It wasn't even televised, and it was done really during the summer. And then I think a lot of people became familiar with it when it became a WCW pay-per-view, and that would be a fall brawl in September. So it really is a fall match for a lot of people. War Games, AEW Blood and Guts, I would prefer if there was more of a story going into it and not just, well, we're doing this event, we're doing this match, so we need teams to throw their names into this. I kind of wish there was more of a better build-up when you do a match like this. In my personal opinion, I think that would help in the overall storytelling. The Blood and Guts thing, just the AEW just kind of threw teams in there. I feel like they're kind of doing that with the War Games match. Are the matches going to be great? Matches can deliver, but I really would prefer a story to go with it to explain why you're getting it. Because realistically, you have people going, well, I'm going to be in the War Games. We're going to have a War Games match. Well, what about the other people in the back? Like realistically, you're not fighting for a spot like you do in the Chamber or the Rumble. It's just kind of like, we're the first team that demand it. Like, it's just kind of like, I wish there was something more to it than that.
I think that another factor, and I think you'll agree with this, is you look at what happened with the Bloodline in War Games and how perfectly organic that worked out. It's a hard act to follow, and that's sort of, for everything that's been War Games related since, you look back at that one with Sammy, the Honorary Uce stuff, and all of that storytelling that went into that match. And unfortunately, that's now the blueprint. We look at that as, and you can't get that every year. It just isn't possible.
You can't, and it really is generations, because you look at the first War Games, it was built around the Horsemen. When WWE brought it back for NXT, it was built around the Undisputed Era.
Right.
So,
and those were brilliant. Those
and-
were
those were
absolutely
amazing.
brilliant.
and
Yeah,
then
there's no doubt.
and then you had the Bloodline on the main roster. So you had that stable that justified its existence for their spot in it. And then you had the babyface team to go against them. Like that could be a ragtag group to go against the overall threat.
Yeah.
You don't truly have that now. The Vision might be the closest,
That's what
only
I'm thinking.
by default in this
Yeah.
situation.
That's the worst part is the Vision would have been perfect if Seth doesn't get hurt.
Exactly.
But again, that is something that's outside their control. So I don't
Right.
fault
Yeah,
them
no, I
for
don't
True.
doing
blame
something
them
like
at
that.
all. No, absolutely.
No, from a storyline standpoint, I don't blame them.
Nothing they can do about that. It sucks because I don't even know what could have been, but I can imagine that it was really good.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, Punk and the Vision were going to be in this regardless. Same thing with Roman.
Right.
Those were like constants. Everybody else is kind of, maybe they would have been, maybe they wouldn't have been, but like those three individuals would have been in it, and obviously the two Bronze would have been in it regardless.
No matter
Yeah.
what. I think so
But
too.
like Drew and Logan and Brock or the Usos, maybe not. But we don't know on that front.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. I will say though, that's going to bring us to the end of today's show. Thank you everybody that tuned in. We really appreciate it. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. That's noon Pacific, 3:00 over on the East Coast, 8:00 in the UK, and of course 9 a.m. for my good friends in Hawaii. On behalf of me, Clark, Anthony, Dez, everybody at WR, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the wrestling. We got good stuff coming up, and we will talk to you soon.